So there's this Republicans Against Trump Twitter account, and there's a lot of people who were either never Trump. That's a certain kind of Republican. We've all seen them. In fact, liberal, pro-Democrat media loves those people. But then there's also people who are, they were Trump supporters, and they're not Trump supporters anymore. So what you're going to see here is, from the Republicans Against Trump Twitter account, you have somebody who's a former Trump supporter ends up debating a current Trump supporter. And I find this such a fascinating clip, man. I find this endlessly interesting because, you know what? I don't even need to set it up anymore. You'll see what I mean. There's a huge difference here between like the intelligence level of the two guys, the honesty of the two guys. So take a look. This is outside of a Trump event, and a guy's being interviewed about his current love and support of Trump.
Here to see my favorite president in the whole world, Donald Trump.
And why is he your favorite?
Because he says, he does what he says. He gets it done.
Did he build the wall?
I believe he is, and I believe the mainstream.
But he didn't.
No. I believe that's just lies by the mainstream media.
Homeboy, you can go and look. The southern border exists. It's there. You can look. You can go check. Like, he said he was going to build a wall, the entire thing. He didn't do that. Now, look, I don't support that policy, but if you do, you can't give him credit for it when you can go and see that it ain't there, dog. There's some parts that have a wall, but by the way, one of those things is an area in California where they have a wall. It was actually like the California government that was, improving that and doing whatever to it. And of course, Trump would go out there and take credit. But it's amazing. So here you have a former Trump supporter, and one of the reasons he turned on him is like, he didn't build the wall, right? Which again, I don't agree with that guy. I think that's like, that shouldn't be a policy that you support, but it is a policy he supports. And so that's one of the reasons he's against him. But the current Trump guy, it's just totally, he's in la-la land, bro. I mean, he's gone mentally. Gone.
Here to see my favorite president in the whole world, Donald Trump.
And why is he your favorite?
Because he says, he does what he says. He.
By the way, that's another red flag, man. Just hit me with a couple things. He did a new NAFTA deal, which I think is better than the old NAFTA. If he said that, it's like, okay, he's focused on policy. Or whatever. He did the First Step Act. He pardoned Alice Johnson, right? I mean, I'm sort of talking more about the policies that I think are the best that he did. I think it's one of the best things he did, pardoning Alice Johnson in the First Step Act. But, like, you don't need to bring up the ones that I like. Bring up the ones you like. But here's the reality, guys. He doesn't know. He doesn't know any of what this guy did. You could I'll give you $1,000 if you can name one policy Trump actually did, and you'd get.
Did he build the wall?
I believe he is, and I believe the mainstream.
But he didn't.
No. I believe that's just lies by the mainstream media, and they're covering up the truth.
Did he win the election?
Absolutely.
And why isn't he in office?
You know what? I mean, if you know what this shirt means.
What does this shirt mean?
Q is it's a mix of different things, but it's basically saying that the world is not how it seems. The media is all fake. The media is not reporting accurate information.
So they're not reporting that he is actually in office?
What I believe, what actually quite a few Trump supporters believe is that Trump is still the president right now. He is running a shadow presidency, possibly from Mar-a-Lago. The White House, the real White House, is shut down.
So you don't like how everything's going with him in office still?
So I believe that it's all a movie we're watching. That's what I have been told. It's all a movie, and we have, actors playing different people who.
Like who else?
So Biden, the real Joe Biden that was with Obama when he was vice president with Obama, he's been executed.
So that's like Tupac, Biggie. They have a replacement. He's a hologram.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. And
you really think that?
I do. I genuinely believe it. I believe that we've been brainwashed our whole lives. I really do. And that the fake Biden is being played by. There's a few people playing him. James Woods could be a few other prominent actors who are on Trump's side in a rubber mask playing Biden in an effort to wake people up to see what the deep state had planned for us.
Come on, you got to be fucking kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding. No, this is information. I'm not.
Okay, so if we're going to go deep state, how about RFK Jr.? His uncle famously got his head blown off, and so did his dad. What do you think about the deep state doing that?
So, haven't heard much about the head being blown off, but I know that JFK Jr. is still alive, and he is going to eventually...
How about John?
Haven't heard much about the head being blown off. Haven't heard much about the assassination of the U.S. president, which was one of the most pivotal moments in American history. But I know JFK Jr. is still alive.
John, which one is that?
Oh, my God, man. The most important part is when he basically says Trump's actually still running the country. But hold on. If you believe that, right, then all of the screaming and yelling and bitching and moaning at Joe Biden for the terrible decisions he's making as he runs the country, that can't be a thing because Biden's not actually running the country. Trump's running the country. So those terrible decisions would be to blame on Trump. So you can't have it both ways. Either you can sit back and like cheer what Joe Biden is doing because Joe Biden is actually being controlled by Trump, right? Or you can attack Joe Biden for his decisions and say, oh, he's the worst president in American history. You can't have it both ways. If you say Trump is secretly running everything, then you can't make any criticisms of the White House because you're criticizing Trump and you guys are Trump sycophants. Like, the most glaring holes I've ever seen in my whole life. It's amazing to me they can't spot these obvious contradictions. So look, you know, a lot of people say it's a cult. I don't know how you can come to any other conclusion at this late date. I mean, I guess the only counter argument is that we're looking at 50 to 60% of the Republican voters, and some might say that's too high to just consider it a cult. Like, obviously, some people are still attracted to him for more normal type reasons. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, at some point, the extreme radicalization of the far right, you got to call a spade a spade. And at some point, that half the Republican Party, 60% of the Republican Party, the primary voters, you got to say, you guys in no way, shape, or form are connected to reality. You don't know what's going on. You don't know the first thing about the policies that are being implemented, not only by Trump, but also by Biden. Your brain is so riddled with conspiracy theories that you can't even acknowledge the most basic, obvious, true stuff. It's like, how am I supposed to engage? How am I supposed to change your mind? And here you have an example of a former Trump supporter, a Republican, who's like, hey, man, I guess I liked him. He didn't do the wall. I think he's kind of a liar. So that's why I don't support him anymore. I think he's a narcissist. I think he's an egomaniac. This is like an old school Trump supporter. And the current Trump supporters are basically like, you know, I believe in QAnon. I mean, maybe believes in like flat earth theory and other things like that. We didn't land on the moon, whatever. Fill in with any freaking conspiracy you want. And it's like, not only do they believe that, but they're also not embarrassed or ashamed to say it, which is a terrifying prospect. It's one thing to believe it, but have like some shame around it and be like, I'm not going to say this publicly. People are going to think I'm crazy. It's another thing to be like, yeah, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. Joe Biden was killed. James Woods and some other actors are playing Joe Biden, but it's okay because Trump is actually running the country from a shadow government. Okay, then why do you ever criticize the White House, right? You can't criticize Joe Biden if Joe Biden's not actually doing stuff and is Trump doing... Okay, oh my God. Oh my God. It's tough, man. Is this what the internet has done to people's brains? Is this what it's done? I really think the internet, in some respects, has been incredibly toxic for people's mental health and their ability to determine fact from fiction. I really believe that. There's a lot of upsides to the internet, too. Of course, all the information in the world at your fingertips, you can pull up in a second. But at the same time, some people, they go down some rabbit holes, man, and they lose their total connection with reality. And the wild thing is, outside of this guy's political beliefs, he might just be a normal dude, right? It's not like he's a severe bipolar or paranoid schizophrenic or whatever, but he just believes insane things politically. To the point where even former Trump supporters are like, oh my God, man, you really believe this? So, I don't know. There you go. It would be a good challenge, right? Go to a Trump rally, try to find one normal Trump supporter at this late date. There's got to be some, right? There has to be. Try to find one. I would be astonished if we did. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.